everyone. This is the Insomniac GM, and I want to share with you guys one of the Halloween one shots I recently ran. I didn't think I was going to be able to run one this year, and God bless my fiance. She knew that I wanted to run one, and I haven't had a chance to, so she got my group together and surprised me. Now, although I didn't think I was going to run one before Halloween, I was preparing for one. So I did make this. So this game used both Heroes Unlimited and Ninjas and Super Spies spliced together. Um, so the players were playing these like cybernetic like martial arts people and that. And the world is now, well, Japan is like now a frozen wasteland. Some creatures started appearing in Japan and started terraforming Japan into this frozen wasteland. And because of it, it cut Japan off from the rest of the world. Japan doesn't know if the rest of the world is going through this or what's happening. So Japan's trying to go to war with these creatures, trying to, exterminate them. Well, these creatures are quickly turning the tide to their side. It's obvious that Japan is going to suffer many, many losses. So, in this setting, the players were sent in to go to Tokyo, which is now like pretty much all abandoned. But the reason they're going there is because the all of Japan is ran by an AI. Kind of think ODST from Halo, but bigger scale. And this AI is starting to like go haywire and needs to be repaired, because they count on that to help them in the battles. So players are sent in to go like repair the AI and that. And when they get there, they got to wear these special suits because they're going to freeze to death. Now, some of the things the players have to worry about is they got to worry about their armor breaking and them just freezing to death. They got to worry about something breaking through the armor and possibly just ripping them apart underneath the armor. They have to worry about like their sanity and everything. So yeah. So now these players, they come to Tokyo and they sync up to the city, and although the AI is breaking down and that, it is still functional. So they sync with it, and like because they're all connected with like all these different cybernetics and everything, like they see the city for what it is, but like over projected over their eyes, like their sight, they see like a kind of like a GPS, like navigating them where they got to go and that. So they're now traversing inside the city, and it's trying to like warn them, like, hey, enemies over here, etc., etc. Now the players eventually run across two of the enemies and they start fighting it. And the when they go to fight these enemies and that, nobody was in danger of dying, but it did a number where they were like, okay, we know what these things can do. We gotta watch out for these. So they ended up dealing with it, but the thing with these creatures is they feed off of like heat and that. So like the characters, like the weapons they're using and all that, like they have to use them to like or sorry, when these creatures attack them and that, it's feeding off of the heat of their blood, the heat from like the electrical circuits from the armor and all that, and then their weapons are like supercharged, and they're supercharged to do more damage, but they're also told like you know don't use these weapons unless you have to, because if you don't kill the creatures, it's just gonna supercharge them. Well, when they absorb this energy, it gets redirected into. For those who don't play Palladium, kind of think of it as like D&D spells. They were pretty much given these creatures spell slots in a sense. So they use them to do all these different attacks and everything on the players. So he eventually killed them, but from like the amount of destruction they were doing and everything, they could see that more were coming. So they tried rushing off and that. They created a fire, like a big fire, to draw them away. And they started running, but these creatures started feeding on the heat from the flame. And a bunch of these creatures got supercharged where they started creating a blizzard. So the players started struggling to navigate in that. And one of the players ended up getting separated from the rest because they were jumping from roof to roof because their character had like a grappling hook and all that. And so they ended up falling off the roof and that. They didn't like take damage falling and that, but they landed on the ground separated and they were trying to meet up. Well, that player, I wish I would have like taken notes or something because there's parts that are kind of like gaps in my mind. But this player ran inside of like a building, and so these creatures were like using the buildings inside to build their like nests and that on the walls and that, and they were tunneling through all these. So they were trying to make like kind of think like a network, like a spider web, to like of tunnels to get from one area to another. So when they got in there, they knocked over like one of the nests. So it alerted the rest of these creatures and they started coming. Well, they started coming in swarms. Well, the other players ran across this character and saw they were being chased by like dozens and dozens. I think I rolled like 74 appearing or whatever. And so they're freaking out because they were like, fighting 2 was hard enough. Now we're dealing with 74. So they're trying to flee, they're trying to do whatever they can. One of our players, who is a walking war machine, is like just mowing them down with a flamethrower, trying to take out as many as they can. They're blowing up cars to have like the explosion like hit into them and you know all that kind of stuff, just trying to like slow them down because they know like we can't take them all. And they're rushing to this bridge, and below the bridge is like ice and that, and they see there's like some cars on the ice, so they're like shooting at that car. And these things are coming up to the bridge and they're attacking the bridge, and finally the car blows up and it like hits the bridge, like the explosion hits the bridge because it was like a street crossing bridge, and blows up. And these creatures like just start going flying. They hit into the ice, it collapses, and that ice like was hollow underneath. It was like part of that network, so they're all tumbling on top of each other and all that. And the players take advantage of that and they run and they follow the AI and they get into a building and run out the back of the house, and like they manage to buy enough time to hide. Now, I should mention when it comes to the heat and that, these creatures can see and they can also see heat. But the suits were to hide their body heat too. So, the players finally, they found the building they needed to get to the AI, and they got in there. There were defenses in that. They were allowed to just walk in, and when they went in there, they realized that if they activate, or they realized that for the AI they just need to reboot it. But if they reboot it, it's going to turn off everything throughout the city, and the emergency backup is going to go on in this building. Which, with how strong it is, it's enough heat to draw attention. So they're going to have like these creatures coming from all over the city to them, and they're going to die. So there's a discussion like, okay, one person has to stay and do this, the rest of us run before they act or reboot it. So somebody has to stay and die. So they have a discussion, and the players come to the decision that it's not going to be one person, that they're all going to go together. So one person can't let one, or one player can't let another one die, another can't let another die, and it just gets to the point where everyone's like, okay, we're dead. But you know what? We're going to bring those guys down with us. So they have like a little like last moment with each other, you know, they play some music, they dance, all that, you know, just something to give them one last moment of enjoyment. And then they reboot the system, and it draws the attention of all these creatures, and they fight them. And we didn't roll any dice. We stated, because we all agreed, they die. But I told them, you guys take down a lot with you. I go into detail about how they're just mowing them down. You know, the players are just beat to their last life, and they just push themselves even past their like normal standards because they are just so determined. So there was a TPK at that point, but everyone was happy. Everyone loved it. So I had a lot of fun with that. I didn't fully develop the world. I wasn't exactly prepared to build on it more, but at the same time too, I was trying to keep stuff available in case the players ever wanted to revisit this world. But if they don't, I'm fine throwing it out. But yeah, so that is one of my, at the time of recording this, one of my 2 or 3 Halloween one shots, because there might be another one. We'll see. But before I go, like I said in one of my videos previously, I want to end this on a positive note. I just want to let you guys know, I know I've been uploading at a slower rate, and I appreciate your patience. And I appreciate your views, and I just appreciate you, period. You are loved, you are cared for, or you are cared about, and thank you for being you. So, you take care. Happy Halloween.